Morning guys, Jason and Nicole here on the Udderfarm. We're actually on the trial property this morning. What I want to talk about guys is this grass I've got in front of me. What it is it's standing grass from winter. What grass, there's only one job or one thing grass wants to do, and that's repopulate. This grass, unfortunately, it grew up to the point that it got a seed head on it. And I was away at the time, working away, and I couldn't get back because of lockdowns in the state, so I couldn't get back home. And what happens, I missed that window of opportunity to bring the cows in and chew it before it goes to seed head. Because the only job that a plant wants to do, like I mentioned, was populate. Once it comes to a seed head and it drops those seeds, it's done its job, then it will die. Basically, this stuff's dead now. It's done its job, dropped the seeds, the goodness goes back into the soil, drains out the plant, and that's dead. The cows will not touch that grass when it's dead. A lot of people think that grass is the same as hay. It's still forage, but it's not, guys. Hay gets cut when it's in a premium state. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, when the high sugar content is at its peak, it gets cut. The energy is stored in that hay when it's cut. This is totally drained out. That's probably got as much fibre or as much nutrition as a stick off a tree, a branch that's fallen off. So there's a vast difference between hay and dead grass. Because I've missed the opportunity, the only thing I can do now is a little bit of green growth going through. So what I need to do now is bring the cows back in here, because we're just going into spring now, we're coming on the summer. What I want to do is them to come back, chew the leaves off the green stuff, which then forces that plant to stress, because it's been dormant for the whole winter. So it hasn't been doing anything. It's reached its maximum peak because, like I mentioned, that tip of that grass is peaked. So it's not going to grow anymore. It may get a few inches higher, but what it's doing is you're not using the microbes to your advantage. As the plants are chewed by the animals, you actually excite the plant. It actually sends root exudates down into the soil, and then those soil biology will actually grab the nutrients that plant needs to recover and grow back. So bringing the cattle in, a lot of that grass will get tromped down. Well, obviously the dogs are trying to help me here. He's trying to put carbon on the ground for me. So what I'm trying to do is the cows will actually tromp that down, and that's adding me carbon to the ground. Whilst they're doing the green picking, they're also laying that carbon down on the ground for me. So I bring them in now. That way, when the rain does come, I've got my litter bank down, I've armoured my soil, and the grass is already trying to recover, catching the carbon dioxide in the sunlight. The root exudates will be in there. The soil biology will be working overtime, because obviously they have a holiday over winter because I didn't have cows grazing here. What I'll do now, guys, I'll hop over where I had them last night, show you what they've grazed off, and I'll show you where we put them in this morning. Righto, guys, we're in that paddock now I moved them into last night. As you can see, they've laid a bit of this bank down for me. They've eaten 1/3 of the plant left. And as you can see, they've also laid down that dead grass I was talking about that I missed that window opportunity for. So they've laid a fair bit at the end for me. Obviously, someone slept there. You can see the big areas they were sleeping. That's to my advantage. All that is laid down now, breaking that sap cycle so the grass won't go back. But what I will explain, guys, is the opportunity when you're cell grazing like we are at the moment, all the cows in one area. If you have a look right here, look at the amount of the cow manure, which is in this one area. I've got Nicole on the back of the camera today, guys.
Hi, everybody.
So within probably a 3-metre radius here, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cow pads that I can see, plus the copious amounts of urine that they've dropped. This is why I don't need synthetic fertiliser, guys, is because that is my fertiliser. Their dollar bills on the ground, they're adding that back to the goodness. The beetles will come up, the dung beetles, and pull that down to the ground, and that's fertiliser, free fertiliser, condensed in one area to bring back this soil life. And that's not only laying the carbon down on the ground, not only exciting that plant to grow, you're getting copious amounts of fertiliser on the property in one hit. And that's why this system works. All you do now is water. But the more carbon or more litter you get laid down, eventually you won't be reliant on the rain, because it's the armour actually protects the soil. Like I can dig right through there, right down. And I've only started over 9 months. There's not much there. There's probably only a centimetre. But it's still better than nothing. Continuous grazing, I've got no armour on the soil at all. Eventually over, it probably take 15, 20 years before I get a decent amount of carbon. But I'm willing to go that action because I've got no other choice. Continuous grazing, I'll be in the same boat every year. I'd be preying on the rain come summer. I'll be buying hay in. It was just a no win-win. This is 100% win-win for me and for the cows, because they're keeping their head out of the dirt, which means they're getting less issues with worms, that kind of, the parasites that we use Poron for. You give them clean pasture every day, you're moving them, so they're not feeding in the soil the whole time, so its health benefits for them is absolutely beneficial. It's actually, you can limit the amount of poisons you use in your cattle by keeping their head out of that dirt and stop them grazing in the dirt. What I do, guys, I'll go down here and I'll show you what we're doing at the moment. So this is where they've been. Like I said, they've trampled all this ground down, all these flat spots. A lot of it is dead grass, and I know that because I missed that window of opportunity. But I've only given a small area here now. That's probably only big enough for about an hour. I'll get a bit of manure down, I'll get a bit of urine down, and we're actually going to set up the electric fence system to go down the driveway for this afternoon and tonight. So, come rain time, I'm prepared now for the rain to come. The soil biology are doing their job with every mouthful. They're excreting those root exudates to liven up the soil biology to start bringing the nutrients that it needs. So the recovery will be faster, as I said, on a chewed plant than a dormant plant. You're just waking up the whole ecosystem. It's summertime, it's time to get alive. That's probably it, guys. That's probably all I wanted to talk about today, is the dead plants and what they do once they seed and drop the seeds is nothing. They will actually die. You need to be on top of it, move your cattle through before it seeds, because if it's about to seed and you've chewed that head off, that plant hasn't finished its job. It wants to, remember, the plant wants to make seeds to populate before it dies. So if you can keep on top of it, and that's the whole idea of regenerative farming, is keep that seed head chewed off by the cows, then it'll keep growing. It'll go all season round until winter, then it goes dormant. That's why you need cool season mixes in your crop. But it'll keep growing until it seeds. The moment you miss that window and it seeds, it'll die. And that's what's happened here, guys. Like I said, a bit of green bank. I mentioned over there, so I won't go on about it. So guys, have a great morning, a good afternoon, and a great evening, wherever you're watching this from, and we'll catch you later.